All the Diddy supporters are so quiet, you can hear a cat piss on cotton right now. And for the first time, even Diddy know it's over. What if I told you after the day, itty bitty Diddy is finished and ain't nothing nobody can do about it? Look at this lineup. And a major Diddy assistant who knows it all, who the defense expected to plead the fifth, all of a sudden changed his mind and the judge granted him immunity. He telling it all. And while I'm at it, I'm gonna go ahead and expose why TMZ have been trying to spin the narrative in Diddy's favor. But it ain't gonna work no more. And I'm gonna expose the reason why. And it's the connection between these two. Let me explain how the day went. First of all, Agent Gannon, who conducted the raids on Diddy property, confirmed about all the weapons, drugs, and other things that Diddy had that he had no business having, just to confirm it for the jury. And next up, the prosecution had Dr. Hughes, seen here, who is an expert on abuse that women go through in these type of toxic relationships. She helped explain the question people saying, why didn't Cassie just leave? Well, she explained trauma bonding and love bombing. According to her, trauma bonding is an emotional attachment that the abused forms with their abuser and makes it difficult for them to leave. She said despite the abuse, people like Cassie become attached to their abusers. And as far as love bombing, the abuser will use his woman, as far as Cassie, and shower her with affection and attention, fast-tracking her to get hooked on him. And once she's hooked, the abuser turns to manipulation and control, which is essential for the abusive behavior. But this is when it got crazy. This is what made Diddy put his hands in his face and know it was over. Ladies and gentlemen, meet George Kaplan. George Kaplan was Diddy's assistant that he trusted the most. The defense and Diddy thought George Kaplan was not going to testify. At first, he was just going to plead the fifth. But at the last minute, the judge granted George Kaplan immunity, and then George Kaplan said, I can spill all the beans. George Kaplan detailed how they set up the freak-offs in state to state, making it feds, and how Diddy hid behind everybody and made everybody purchase drugs. And then this was one of the most damning statements. Mr. Combs asked me to call a person. He came and gave me a bag of pills. I gave him cash. I gave the pills to Mr. Combs. In LA, I went out and met the person. I gave the money. He gave me the bag. They ended his testimony on that note, and he will be starting tomorrow. But using your company to have your employees set up freak-offs and purchase drugs is wild illegal, and that's what RICO is. Now let me finish with TMZ. I think it's the perfect time to explain to people why TMZ is so heavy in trying to push the narrative like there's no case. It's because Mark Garagos and Harvey Levin actually have a podcast together, and they are best pals. Mark Garagos is a longtime friend and lawyer of Diddy who has been accused of doing shady things to help Diddy out. Mark Garagos even as recently says Diddy is a friend who shouldn't be abandoned. Remember Jonathan Odie, the guy who in 2018 who detailed all of this stuff about the Cassie and Diddy freak-offs? He brought up Mark Garagos, and he said when he signed his NDA and Mark Garagos facilitated that $5 million for him not to say anything. After that, Mark Garagos then went and had FBI and different people following him around, harassing, helping out the diddler. There's even articles about it. 3 Diddy lawyers, Tenny Garagos, which is Mark Garagos' daughter, and who is the lead attorney for the defense right now for Diddy, Mark Garagos and TMZ's Harvey Levin. An attempt to sway public opinion in the Diddy trial has once again backfired on Team Diddy, known as TMZ. I could go further, but shame on TMZ and all the bloggers who paid off trying to spin something that's obvious that Diddy is sunk. I just had so many people ask me why is TMZ saying what they're saying. I had to break it down. TMZ having a podcast literally with Diddy's defense team is so much of a conflict of interest. Of course they'll say what they say. And I don't like it. What if I told you?